The Holy Roman Empire in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Everything Peace of Westphalia. The Holy Roman Empire, or the Empire for short, was a political entity in the heart of Europe, corresponding roughly to modern Germany. It existed for 1,000 years, formally dissolving in 1806. Where did it come from? Pope Leo III crowned Charlemagne in AD 800, making him Roman Emperor in place of the last actual Western Roman Emperor who had been deposed in 476. Byzantines were not happy because they were the real Roman emperors, although by that time they had no more to do with Rome than the Holy Roman Empire later would. In 843, Charlemagne's grandsons divided the empire into 3 parts in the Treaty of Verdun. The western part contained what would become France, the eastern part Germany, and the middle part, including the imperial title, which went to the eldest son. The middle part did not survive, and the eastern and western parts disputed the title, but it eventually settled in the east in what is now Germany. At its greatest extent, the empire covered not only modern Germany and Austria, but also Switzerland, Belgium, the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, parts of eastern France, parts of western Poland, and all of northern Italy. In the High Middle Ages, the communes of Italy resisted imperial rule, leading a series of emperors to spend a lot of time warring there. Not only did they fail to subjugate the cities, but in the process they also weakened themselves in Germany. The empire increasingly became a loose collection of territories. Duchies, counties, free cities, even knights with just a small piece of land governed themselves with minimal intervention from the emperor. Maps of the empire's extent are often misleading because it rarely lost territory in wars. Instead, different regions gradually became more and more independent, even though they remained nominally part of the empire. This was the case not only in northern Italy, but also in Switzerland and the Low Countries. Emperors were chosen by 7 electors. This was formally codified in the Golden Bull of 1356, which also made the office of emperor not depend on papal coronation. Emperors tended to come from the same royal house. Starting in the 15th century, they were almost exclusively Habsburgs, but there was no rule requiring it, and one non-Habsburg was elected in 1742. The electors made the emperor-to-be agree to an electoral capitulation before voting for him, which guaranteed their rights at every succession. The rest of the territories in the empire, the estates, dukes, counts, bishops, and so forth, had a say in government through the imperial diet, or Reichstag. This was sort of similar to the way American states are represented in the Senate, but imperial estates were different in several ways. There were more of them, and they changed constantly as one ruler inherited another's land, or a ruler divided his lands among his sons, or sometimes a ruler even mortgaged a territory to someone else in exchange for ready money. They were not all equal. In fact, they were in a fairly strict hierarchy, and it is difficult to count them because their legal status varied. Why was the empire important? The empire was a populous territory at the center of Europe, so it has always been an important part of European diplomacy. Its unusual form of government has been held up as an example of the advantages and the disadvantages of decentralization. It was virtually impossible for the empire to launch an aggressive war because there was no central authority that could raise taxes and soldiers from the whole empire. Especially after 1648, the empire had some guarantees of freedom of conscience, and for a long time it enjoyed relative economic success because it was not burdened by national policies of taxation or tariffs. On the other hand, the lack of central power also meant that imperial estates sometimes fought among themselves. The empire as a whole did not wage an aggressive war in the 18th century, for example, but 2 of the biggest wars in Europe at that time were fueled by the rivalry between Austria and Prussia, 2 component parts of the empire. It was used as a negative example in the Federalist Papers, where Madison and Hamilton argued that the United States needed a stronger central government. In the 19th century, most Germans felt that the weak imperial government had caused them to be mistreated by outside powers, which led to the insistence on a strong army when Germany was united in the 1860s and 1870s. Recent scholarship has tended to view the empire as a positive example, and some have even suggested that it could serve as a model for the European Union.